You are on stage.
We're on
Hi,
opposite
guys.
sides today.
Hello, hello.
Hello, everybody. How's it going?
How are we all doing?
It is almost the end of March. What the hell is happening?
What is happening? I have no
And
idea. I'm going to be putting that damn tree up again before I know it.
get ready for Halloween before you know it.
Right? Your snow will melt and then it'll start again for, winter.
Yes, I was just telling Carrie that Jen told me today that we're potentially looking at between tomorrow night and Monday, 15 inches of snow.
That's a lot of snow. And then that's also a very long span of time
Yeah.
that it's just constant snow.
There's also the chance that we get nothing. We just never
You
know.
know,
You just
you
never
just
know.
don't know. It sounds like Jennifer. So she's in Pittsburgh and she was like, it's 71. And we were talking like just a couple weeks ago how warm it was. And I'm like, everybody's out and kids are on bikes and people are walking around and she's like, it's so lovely and nice. And then yesterday, day before, she's like, it's snowing.
Yeah.
And she's like, what is this bullshit? And I'm like, did you know it was good? She's like, no, they didn't say anything about snow. She got 5 inches that night. She
That's
was so
crazy.
mad.
We had a day, I think it was last Tuesday. Jen and I, like, if it hits 30, we go for a walk with the dog.
Springtime.
Obviously, we don't have time to, or you can't walk when it's, -8 out. Um, and so we got that day, we walked. It was 72. It was breezy. It was beautiful. Yes, I'm still loving the winter, Sandy. I have reverse seasonal depression. I say that somewhat sarcastically because I am actually devastated that winter's coming to an end. I'm that asshole.
Me too. Oh, me
Yeah.
too. I'm like, no, I don't want the
I'm
heat.
like, no, no, no. So anyway,
Mm.
it was 72. We took the dogs for a walk, came back, looked, it was like 65. I screenshotted it to my parents because it had come down a little bit. And then I looked at the night weather and I woke up to -8 the
Oh
next
my
morning.
God.
So I had tank tops, flip flops, and leggings on to walk the dog. And then it was bean boots, leggings, jeans, sweater, jacket, beanie, gloves, the whole thing. I got all four seasons outfit in 24 hours. And I
24 hours. Yeah.
think that's kind of fun.
That's wild.
I think it's kind of fun.
That is wild. Yeah, Melissa, Arizona has hit the triple digits
Oh,
for
God,
the
no.
first time in March. That's rare.
Mm-mm.
For the first time in like, I don't remember, like 10 some odd years. It's very rare that Phoenix hits over 100 degrees. I texted Laura and I was like, ew.
Gross. Mom says it was like 85 in Atlanta last week. I'm like, no, I don't. There's
Yeah.
nothing appealing about that to
They
me.
just, yeah, the weather just doesn't know what it wants to do. But
There was that
yeah.
Southern girl a couple years ago. She put out that video. She's like, hey, New England, your weather is drunk in my backyard. I'm going to need y'all to come get it. I'm like, pretty accurate. Pretty accurate.
That's super crazy. All right, guys, we have one hell of a show for you tonight. And we're going to be talking about quantum mechanics in manifestation. And I have been researching this and writing my notes and doing all this for, when did we plan this? Over a month ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
about.
So it's going to be a big, big, big one. So we're going to get right into it. We're not going to have a lot of banter here in the beginning. We do have an announcement that we would like to make, and then after that announcement, we're going to get right into it. We won't be pulling cards or anything like that. We'll do that on the next show. So Aaron, I will let you make the announcement because
It's my fault.
it's not your fault. It's both of us. It's both of us, but I don't know. I don't. I'm going to talk a lot in this episode, so you just go ahead and make the announcement.
Yeah. So we have decided that this is sort of coming to a nice organic end for us, the show.
Yes.
We've hit as many metaphysical things that we can think of. We've, rambled on about our life stories and all the chaos and how to survive it. And I think we've built this incredible community here. But I think for both of us, life is vastly changing.
Yes.
You've got the shop and you've got health stuff you're still looking at dealing
Yep.
with. I've got the job, um, which has become quite a thing, and that's a lot of, like I was telling her earlier, I'm up at 4:30 tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we got big stuff going on, and it's just, it's a good time for us to end it. So we are having one more show next week. So we're going to do quantum today because that's an important discussion. And
Yeah.
then next week, or the next 2 weeks from now, would you say it was
April
April
2nd.
2nd?
Yeah, will be our last
Last episode.
episode.
And we're just going to fuck around on that episode. We'll pull cards that episode. We'll,
Yeah.
shoot the shit. But I think for us, for me, there's some extenuating circumstances, and I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with the show and the people that watch it. Given everything that we've been dealing with the last 2.5 years with the Conjuring House, I just need a little bit of distance between myself and the field for my
Yeah.
own sanity. And I won't be out of it forever. It's not like I'm leaving the planet. I mean, we're still going to be around. I'm sure we'll still pop up for game night, and we'll still.
Yeah, definitely. For sure. We made sure to tell Ken that we are still in for game nights.
Yeah. So it's just, for us, this makes sense. We were, we've just discussed it some. We were both kind of thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's been a hell of a ride. I mean, we were offered this show by Ken and George in August of 24.
4? Yeah. A
24.
year and a half. Yeah.
And we have given as much knowledge as we could possibly throw at you, lovely folks, and you've hung around the entire time.
Yeah.
And
And
we're
I mean,
just
of course,
incredibly grateful.
you could still watch, the past episodes. I don't think Ken's taking those down.
No.
Yeah.
And we'll keep the Facebook page up, obviously. So you
Yeah,
can
we're gonna
still
keep the
reach out
group
to
up.
us. I'll try to be more active on that. I'm not the best. I've kind of put a kibosh on social media a little bit. But yeah, I think
Sometimes
for
you
us,
have to. There's a
do.
lot of toxicity on social media.
There is. So that, while sad, I think is a good natural end for this.
Yeah, I agree.
And we're grateful for all of you. Grateful to Dead Air for giving us. Sorry, I have the hiccups. The opportunity to be able to have this discussion, because I don't think there's a lot of shows giving you
Yeah.
the straight shit on what spirituality is actually like, and not dressing it up in
Yeah.
rainbow hearts and unicorns or whatever it is. And to be able to have that space and be supported in that space has been really, really powerful.
Yeah.
But it's time for us to move on.
Yeah.
Do something different,
Yeah. And you never know, we might be back in some other kind of capacity. I have my new Serums and Shenanigans live show that I do on the first Monday of every month. Now, granted, it's not anything like this. It's solely about skincare, but we do have good conversations, and, we do BS, and it is a fun place to be. So that's on Facebook Live every first Monday of the month if you want to pop over there and say hi.
Yeah.
If you have questions about skincare or anything like that, you can still find Aaron and I
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I have, to some degree, spread myself too thin, which was fine when I wasn't working all the time.
Right. Yep. That's true.
But we are working, and working really, you wouldn't think requires that much brain power, but when you're in charge of 9 departments and scheduling 160 people and everything else that comes with it, you get home and you're like, oh my God.
That's insane. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So, and yeah, like she said, I still have this lung issue, whatever it is. I don't know what the rest of the year looks like for me health wise. So, I knew when they found this thing in my lung that I was going to be a liability for this show for the year, because I didn't know what was going to happen.
Right.
So
I wouldn't say liability. That's a mean
well,
word.
I mean, the saying, I can't do the show this week, or I can't do the show that week, or I
Yeah.
can't, you know what I mean? I didn't want it to be a constant, do we know if Carrie's going to show up the next time kind of a thing. That's just what I mean. But, so yeah, that's, our big announcement. So, I'll let Miss Satori. She's so sweet. Yeah, everybody's just got to take some time, and you can't.
Pour from an empty
Yeah.
cup.
What?
Pour from an empty cup.
Yeah, you can't pour from an empty cup. Exactly.
Yeah.
You have to take care of yourself
You do.
first. And I know that kind of goes against everything that we maybe have been taught, like, oh, help your fellow man, help your friend, help this, do that, be present, go there, go here. But you can't if you have no energy,
Yeah.
you've got to turn inward at some point and fix yourself, because no one's going to do it for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I know for me, some of it too is, I mean, I've had a lot of change in the last,
You really haven't. You
lost a
haven't ever
marriage,
slowed down
lost a
since you
whole
got there.
life in Florida, not lost, but, made a lot of
You
changes.
did.
And
It
while I
is.
plow through it and really definitely made the most of it and not, getting bogged down in the sadness of it and
Yeah.
choosing to focus on the new things I have and the people I have in my life and all that. But there's some days where you're just like, ugh, so time to refocus, time to reset the energy, kind of get back to
Yeah.
being behind the camera, which is my preferred method
That is your
anyway.
preferred spot. Yep. Yep.
And, but we'll still be around.
Yeah, we're still going to be around. Aaron's still doing the Reiki for all of the products in the shop. Like
Yeah.
nothing, it's not a breakup. It's not,
No.
and you can always find us.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have questions, or you get a new ability and you're not quite sure like how to practice with it or things like that, for sure. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, we wanted to make that announcement. And then I don't have anything else with regard to
No.
us ending the show. To you?
No. I think we can jump into. Thank you for all the nice comments as we've been throwing.
Yes, guys.
See if we
Thank you.
would
We're
be here
sad
without
too.
you.
We're sad
Um,
too. It wasn't a decision we came to lightly.
no, no,
Yeah.
definitely not. And I think once Carrie gets going, because she's teacher today, teacher Carrie, I'm gonna. If you have questions, I'm gonna star them, but I'm not gonna put comments up as she's talking, just so she can focus on what she's trying to teach us.
Yeah.
Yes, the Facebook page will stay up at this point.
Yes.
Yep. Um, which is nice because that's an easy way to get us.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey, Susan.
hey, Sue. So yeah, we will still have Facebook up. Last show will be April 2nd. And that'll just be fun. That'll just be a fuck around and find out kind of
Yeah,
show.
we'll just have a little party on that day, and yeah, we'll pull cards and answer questions and just kind of, hang out and
Have
chat.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Um.
hello.
Hi.
Nice to see you. Welcome. So we are going to dive into the quantum world of, and this just, I know people already know a little bit about this, but this stuff makes your brain hurt, like in the best way possible. So grip your feet, hang on,
And seriously,
then
if you have questions, ask them. We'll get to those at the
put them in the
end.
chat. Yep.
Yeah.
I'll
And then
start them and then
Aaron.
we'll do a Q&A at the end.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm it's a lot, guys. I was like, what
It's a
the
lot.
hell am I? This was my idea, by the way. I was
Yeah, this
like,
is Carrie's
hey, Erin,
fault.
here's
No,
a
I'm
great
just
idea.
teasing.
And she's like, have at it.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So if you maybe you want to take notes, maybe you whatever, but if you have questions, certainly ask them. We'll get to them at the end. There are going to be times when I'm going to ask if you guys are following me. And then Aaron will be like, yeah, they are. No, people need more clarification. That's
Yep.
fine.
Yep.
But let's get into it. Whew. Yeah,
I'm
it's
going to go small in the corner, and then that way
okay.
they can focus on you and not my constant head bobbing that I do all the time.
Okay.
Have at
hang
it,
on.
sister.
Oh dear. Well, of course, I was going over the notes again before the show, and now I've lost my place. So this is starting off real well.
It's on brand, Carrie. It's fine. It's on brand.
Okay. All right. So today we're going to talk about quantum mechanics in manifesting. And I got most of my information from scienceexchange.caltech.edu. Yeah, I went there.
Yeah, that's sciencey shit.
Encyclopedia Britannica, medium.com, and a TikTok called Lux/Manifestation run by this girl named Seven. I got a lot of information from her. So, quantum mechanics is essentially the science of how the universe behaves at the smallest level. And how to, we want to talk tonight about how to use it for manifesting the reality that you want. Okay. So what we all learned in school is that everything is made up of matter, and matter is something that has mass and takes up space. So we all know that matter is made up of particles like molecules and atoms. And atoms have subatomic particles called protons, neutrons, and electrons. We're not going to get into photons or anything like that. Now, that's the base of science that we all know, right? Physics is the fundamental science studying how the universe behaves, and it focuses on matter, energy, space, and time. So its goal is to explain everything from subatomic particles to vast galaxies using core principles like motion, forces, and thermodynamics to understand the laws that govern reality. You guys with me so far?
Yep. So far, I think we're okay.
So far, we're good?
Nobody's
Okay.
nobody's confused yet.
All right, great. All right, let's see here. Now, quantum physics, on the other hand, is the study of matter and energy at the smallest scales, atoms and subatomic particles. And it studies it where traditional laws of physics break down. So it reveals that nature is granular or quantized. So it reveals that nature is granular rather than continuous, and that particles can act like waves, and these particles can also exist in multiple states all at once. These particles are also governed by probability, not certainty. So at the quantum level, these smallest particles don't behave like solid objects. They exist in multiple possibilities at the same time until something interacts with them, and then one outcome becomes reality. That sounds really wild, I know, but still with me?
Yep.
Yep, we're good? Okay. All right. I'm trying to be as clear as possible because this really was like having my own brain cave in on itself. So at the quantum level, these tiny particles, I'm going to say it again, don't behave like solid objects because they exist in multiple possibilities at the same time until something interferes with them or interacts with them, and then one outcome becomes reality. So there's also something called the observer effect. We're going to get into metaphysics, Ellen, I swear.
All tied in.
It's all tied in, I swear to God. Okay. So there's also something that's called the observer effect, where simply measuring or observing a particle can actually change how it behaves. Okay? So when we talk about manifestation through a quantum lens, the idea that reality may be less like a fixed machine and more like a field of possibilities, and our attention, intention, and energy might play a role in which possibilities unfold. Does that make sense?
It's like Akashic Records in a weird way.
It's
In a
like Akashic
scientific
Records
way.
in a weird way. Yeah. So now, Aaron, here is where I'm gonna share my screen.
Yep.
So, like I said, where we're at now is when we talk about manifestation through the quantum lens, again, the idea that reality may be less like a fixed machine and more like a field of possibilities, then our energetic field and how we're using it through our attention, intention, may play a role in which possibilities become our realities. So
Right.
it's not just you know, determined by, oh, well, this is just happening to me. No, it's far more than that. You're far
Yeah.
more involved in constructing your reality and manifesting what you want than you might think.
Realize. Yeah.
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 So, there's a famous experiment in quantum physics and that shows really how strange the quantum world is, and it's called the double slit experiment. So, picture this. Okay? You fire electrons one by one toward a barrier with two narrow slits. Okay? Behind that barrier, so here's the slits, you are firing them at these two slits. There's a barrier behind it, and it's a screen that records where each electron lands. Okay? So if you don't try to watch which slit any particular electron goes through, if you're not observing it or actively interacting with it by measuring it or looking at it or whatever, something really crazy happens.
Hmm.
The electrons build up an interference pattern on the screen. And basically, what that means is those alternating bands of high and low density of electrons that are going through those slits, they go through them as they pass them at the same time. Each electron passes through both slits at once. And it's interfering with itself like ripples on a pond. That's why it's called wave behavior. Because when they went through it, that's exactly what it looked like in the readout. So I'm going to show this. Where is it? Please hold. I can't find my picture. Okay, so there's that. Let me bring this up here, and I'm going to share my screen. This one. Okay. Can we see this?
Yeah. I'm gonna remove myself for now.
Oh, okay. All right, so everybody, I can't see the comments, but does everybody see my little image here? Don't worry about the letters and all that stuff. Just you can see right here the two little slits. Can you see my mouse? Okay, good. So you see the two little slits. This is what they were aiming from, this side. They were shooting the electrons this way. This is the screen behind it. As the particles went through, they seemingly went, one electron seemingly went through both slits at the same time. So as all the different electrons went through here, it created this wave pattern. They showed up on the other side of the wall with the two slits in a wave pattern. And this is when nothing, it wasn't being observed. They weren't being measured. They weren't being anything. So take that one down and bring my nose back up here. Are you guys with me so far? Okay, we're good. All right. So, but what happened was they added a detector at the slits to see which path the electrons were actually taking because they couldn't believe that electrons were going through, one electron was going through both the slits at the same time. So they added a detector at them. Suddenly, because they were measuring the electrons and they were observing them, the act of measurement of forcing the system or the electrons to choose a definite path collapsed all the other possibilities. So those waves, the electrons, once they were interacted with, they shot through right straight to the back of the wall in a very different pattern. So the electron's wave function, that mathematical description that you saw of all of its potential locations and behaviors, it snapped into a single outcome. There was no more superposition, no more wave-like weirdness, just straightforward. The electrons either went in this side or this side. And that is, let me find that picture here. I know and it took so long. I was like, I don't understand this, and nobody is going to understand it either. Okay, let's see. Let me share my screen. Okay, so this is what happened. Can you see that?
Yep. There's
You
that.
can see that?
Yep.
Okay. So when the electrons were observed, you have our light source here. It's shining through. These are the two slits. Instead of going through them and ending up in a wave pattern, once they were interacted with, they actually went individually through each slit and collected on the back wall or the little screen. And they couldn't figure out why this was happening. But time and time and time again, when they did it and other scientists repeated the experiment and they got the same results, they were left with the only conclusion that the particles live in what is known as superposition.
Also a
So,
great Young the Giant song, but that's
yes.
the topic.
So, remember, okay, so where particles exist in multiple states all at the same time, that's called superposition. So, the little electron produces, those electrons produce those wave patterns until information about its path exists. And that's what is introduced when you start to observe the electrons or these tiny particles in any kind of way. Be it through, like I said earlier, our attention, our intention, our energy, our beliefs, things like that. So that's what superposition is. And it's kind of the basis that I want us all to remember as we start talking about manifestation. Okay. So the tools that are used to measure the electron or interact with it actually disturb it and it forces it to choose a single position instead of existing as multiple possibilities like they were in that waveform. So even when no measuring device is present, the electron still produces the wave pattern, meaning it behaves like a wave, like I said, until information about its path exists. And that's why the experiment is so famous. So quantum physics doesn't say that our minds magically control particles. They don't.
Right.
But it does show that reality at its smallest level exists as probabilities until interactions determine the outcome. Clear? Are we clear
Yes.
so far?
We do have one question that I want to put up here because it's pertinent to right now.
Okay. So that's a good question because that was my question too. I'm like, well, then how do they know? Observing in this particular instance means that the electron was interacted with. So, like, they were measuring it. They were putting those, what did I call them? They were putting those, where did it
Diffractor
go?
or the
Yes, add a detector at the slits. They added a detector to actually see which path the electron took. That is what using tools to measure the electron, that's considered observing it. When they weren't doing that, when they were just shooting it and seeing what happened with no other like detector or anything like that, that's when they were in the wave pattern. So that's what it means in this instance by observing it. And when they weren't observing it, as far as like trying to measure it or using tools to kind of record what was happening, that kind of thing. That's what that
using
means.
their microscopy type things, I guess is kind of the question. Like they're having to observe it obviously somehow, but they're not almost like not adding another element to the experiment. It doesn't
Yes,
behave that way, I
exactly.
guess, right? So if
Yes.
they're just observing through whatever God knows how big or how small microscope they're using or whatever they use to until you add another variable to the mix, that's what's
Right,
considered
exactly.
observing. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Once you do that, then that's considered you're interacting with it. And so therefore the electron is, and it makes sense to me, like if you know,
Mhm.
put something in there, it's gonna change the outcome. And
Yes.
in this instance, observing it, that's what that means. Using tools to
Interesting.
interact with the electrons. Does that make
Great
sense,
question.
Sandy? Yeah, that was a good question.
Here we go. She said, measuring the end result versus what's happening in the middle.
Yes. Yep. But also watching to see that they're actually going through these slits. It's really wild. So, so quantum physics doesn't say that our minds magically control the particles, but it does show that reality at its smallest levels exists as probabilities until interactions determine the outcome. So it suggests that reality starts as possibility. So manifestation asks the next question: how do we influence which possibility becomes real? And so that's what we're talking about tonight. So now we're getting into the manifestation part of this, Ellen. Okay. So manifesting in the quantum field, let's start there. The idea of the quantum field doesn't actually have to be mystical because it's actually a scientific concept, the quantum field. The foundational layer of our reality is what it is. So every particle is just a vibrational layer in that field. Now, Aaron, feel free to jump in anytime.
Okay.
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 In simple terms, everything is connected in the quantum field. Okay. Nothing exists completely on its own. Everything is part of a bigger system, right?
Yes.
So the energy that we carry through our thoughts, our emotions, our nervous system becomes the signal that we broadcast to the quantum field. Does that make sense?
Sure does. To me.
Okay. Okay. That signal is always interacting with the quantum field, influencing how our reality takes shape. So that signal affects how we show up, what we notice, the choices we make, how we respond to opportunities, which in turn shapes our real life experiences, right? And then when that signal from us shifts, when that changes, the way we experience and move through reality changes with it, right?
Right.
Okay.
Kind of like
So,
Interstellar. I always use Interstellar for this particular part of it. And the reason for that is in the scene in the end where he is in the quantum realm, basically, desperately trying to get to the books, right? Where he's tapping out the books in the library.
right.
And he's going through a gazillion of the same scene,
Yeah.
right? That is, I think it's actually quantum block theory, is what it is. But anyway,
It is. And I talk about it.
block theory,
Yeah.
right? Corey and I were literally talking about quantum block theory last week, not even kidding. But it's almost like Robert Frost, two roads diverge in a yellow wood. The quantum field contains every choice, every option, past, present, and future available
Uh-huh.
to you. But because that's all energy,
Yeah.
all that energy and what you're getting into with the manifestation. I'm just trying to give people another visual, right? If you've seen Interstellar, to kind of
Yes. Yeah. Hmm.
grasp onto visually.
Yeah.
That contains all that knowledge in that one field. Sorry, I just
No,
figured.
no, no. That's
visual.
exactly what it is. So, the energy that we're putting out into the quantum field, when when that signal from us shifts, like I said, the way we experience it, move through reality will change with it. So manifestation isn't about forcing something to happen. It's about getting clear and aligned internally. So you're not sending the universe mixed signals. We're going to get into why
Bingo.
and how that affects your outcome here in just a second. So the less internal conflict there is, the clearer your signal to the quantum field becomes, and the easier it is for things to come together.
And that's
So,
because you're vibrating at a higher frequency.
yes, yes. So let's talk about the phrase, it'll happen when you least expect it. I think we've all heard it. I know we've all said it, and I'm sure we've all experienced it.
Yeah.
Wanting something so bad, and oh my God, the person that was looking for love in like every face she came across, and then when she stopped looking, bam, then all of a sudden she met the love of her life, and that was like, it's such a classic thing that I think every single person living this human existence has experienced. Would you agree?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
for sure. Yeah.
Okay. So the universe prefers the path of least resistance, right? We see it in nature all the time. In rivers flowing, like they'll just flow. They'll flow around like mountains and rocks and things like that. And they don't, you know,
No
they
problem.
prefer, yeah, the path of least resistance. It happens particularly we see it a lot in nature, is what I'm saying. In electricity doesn't take the long way around. It just goes right there. So
Right.
energy always finds the most efficient setup, okay? And it prefers stability. Who doesn't? So when we work when we work hard for a specific outcome, we're actually introducing more energy into the system than it needs.
Yes.
So things can become unstable, they can become chaotic. That's why low effort outcomes happen faster because the system doesn't need to reorganize from the new energy we just injected it with
Right.
when we're working harder.
Right.
So we, as human beings, we associate effort as the way that we get things done. And yes, that's true. But with manifestation, that explanation is really only important to the mind. You know, like you're mowing the lawn, you got to work hard if you want to get it done. Like, and I use that example because Coy and I mowed the front yard today. But that that doesn't really apply when you're manifesting.
Right.
So a lot of effort creates resistance and it causes the outcome to change or take longer because the universe has to reorganize things.
Yeah.
So we need to learn to relax and let the universe do its job. It's one of those a watched pot never boils type of things.
Yeah. Well, and I
Any
think
questions on that so far?
no questions so far. I think, like for example, to give you a simple, silly, stupid path of least resistance example, but so true. When I
Yeah.
first went to the farm, I would jokingly say, if this marriage ends, I'm going to live in New England as a witch in the woods somewhere. And I would literally, Carrie will tell you, I
Uh-huh.
say it as a joke all the time, but I
Hmm.
never put any stock into it.
Yep.
It was like a joke, sort of, right? But it wasn't
Right.
like, oh God, what can I do to move to New England? Like, how can I, it was like, maybe someday, probably not, but as
Yeah.
a joke. And then bam, now I'm a witch in the woods
In the woods, living in New England.
living in New England. So it's like,
buried,
but
buried in snow.
because it wasn't something that was a focus of mine. I wasn't trying to make it happen. It wasn't,
Yep.
I knew deep down in my core it's what I wanted, but it was like, given what my life was, there was no chance that was going to
Yeah.
happen, which was fine, no problem.
Yeah.
But just a
Hmm.
simple little joke I'd say to all my friends, even when Cody threatened to chain me to the camper at the farmhouse, those kinds of
Yeah.
things.
No, not that one. Wasn't that one haunted?
Yeah,
Didn't that one have a creepy ghost?
it sure did. Um, but to the point of, it was always like a joke, but somewhere deep down in my soul, it's what I wanted, right? But I just didn't put
Yeah.
any stock into it, yet I manifested it.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing. And I see Mary Beth's comment. One of the hardest lessons for people to learn, they really don't have any control over their lives. This whole entire episode is proving that you do. That's what we're talking about. So, because we actually do. If we understand it from a scientific standpoint, it becomes a little bit more, it becomes a little easier to kind of figure out like how you can actually manifest the reality that you want to live in.
100%.
So we're gonna get to self-fulfilling prophecies here in just a second, but let's talk about want, right? Wanting things badly doesn't get them to you faster.
Correct.
So the universe prefers a coherent system, one where all the parts are working together, the energy is flowing clearly, and there's no resistance, like that river. An incoherent system actually wastes energy. And I think we can all agree with that. You could have done all the right things. You could have said an affirmation. You could have lit the candle. You could set the expectation of the outcome. But if your thoughts and your emotions and your nervous system and basically all of your energetic field, because we've all got one, if those are not in sync, you're creating an incoherent system. And
Yahtzee.
that generally then has us trying harder, right?
Yeah.
Which the harder we try, then that gums up the works more. Remember, the universe has to reorganize all of the different ways that all of the different energy that we just injected into what we said we wanted. So now it's opened up another bunch of possibilities because we're just putting too much into it. So it's
Yeah.
not, the universe is having a hard time bringing the one that you chose to fruition because it's having to restructure based on all of the wasted energy you're putting into it. So it's kind of like when you try to untangle the Christmas lights and then you just end up tangling them more. It's like that.
Yeah.
So this girl, Seven, on TikTok, she said people who manifest things easily aren't doing more. They're contradicting themselves less.
Yep.
And I had to quote that because it was so good. Because I think we all do this.
Yep.
Effort doesn't collapse possible timelines. Alignment does. So you need to be in alignment energetically with the quantum field for whatever it is you're trying to manifest. And that is in one way or another or 10 others, what Aaron and I have been saying since the very first episode of this show.
Yeah.
Your energy has to be in alignment. Otherwise, you're going to feel like your emotions are in a chaotic space, your thoughts are in a chaotic space, your life is in a chaotic space, because we've all talked about that. You know, when with humans, the bad stuff is easier to believe. If you focus on all the bad stuff, well, guess what? You're telling the universe and telling your mind, hey, that's what's important. Let's bring her more of it.
Yep. Exactly.
And we've been saying that since day one. So this is just a scientific way of saying, look, what we were saying also is backed by science. So effort doesn't collapse possible timelines, which is what we want to do. We've got a whole bunch of possible timelines floating around out there, and you're like, hey, that's the one I want. Get in alignment with your energy and your energetic field so that it's communicating with the universe and the quantum field clearly. All those other timelines, all those other realities collapse. Those timelines collapse because it's giving you the one that you want.
Right.
And
Yes.
getting rid of the ones that you don't.
Right.
So, self-fulfilling prophecy. This kind of goes hand in hand with what I was just saying. You know, your reticular activated system, that part of your brain that, you know, you go buy a white car and then that's all you see on the road are white cars
Yep.
because you love your white car so much. Self-fulfilling prophecy is kind of the same thing. So in the 1940s, there was a sociologist named Robert Merton, and he suggested an idea that if you believe something to be true, it becomes true. And this has actually been proven repeatedly over decades of study. He defined it as, quote, a false definition of a situation invoking a new behavior, which makes the originally thought conception become true.
Yeah.
That was a long way of saying, if you believe something to be true, it becomes true.
I have a very short example for that if you want it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
We had a friend, it'll be very short. He, for whatever, and he was a successful optometrist in Atlanta. He, for whatever reason, since he was a small child, has had this overwhelming fear of getting Lou Gehrig's disease. No family history.
Oh, no.
Anywhere. Gets diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's at 54 and dies in 3 years. Self-fulfilling prophecy. It's extreme.
It's extreme.
It's true.
Yeah.
So.
Because, like, if you truly believe, so here's an example as well. If you truly believe that nobody likes you, you're going to act like nobody does. And in doing so, you're going to give people reasons not to like you. Exactly. You just created a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yep.
So manifestation is not just mysticism, it's science. It's been scientifically proven that once you change your beliefs about yourself and your circumstances, reality will change to fit that belief. Now, we're not saying it's easy as pie. Just believe something different.
Right. It's not that easy. No.
It's not that easy, and we know it's not that easy. There's a reason why the show is coming to an end. Aaron and I, have things that we need to focus on because adjusting to different
Life.
things that have happened in life is not easy. So please
Nope.
don't think that I'm saying, look, just be nicer to people and then they will like you. I get it. I really get it.
Yeah.
But maybe keep this is something that all of us here, me, Aaron, every one of you watching, need to always keep in the back of our mind that if you believe something, really, really believe it, it will come true.
Thoughts
Good
are
or
things.
bad.
Liz
Thoughts
just
are
said that.
things.
And that's Andrea's favorite quote. Well, one of hers. Thoughts are things. And that's 100%
Thoughts are things.
true.
Yes.
And everything's a choice.
Everything is a choice. Yes. Everything is a choice, whether you realize it or not. Subconsciously, you're making that choice.
100%.
Yeah. So I talked a little bit about superposition. It is where the particles exist in multiple states and multiple possibilities all at the same time. Remember the little electron that produces the wave pattern until information about its path exists. And then it just goes in that direction.
Right.
So do multiple versions of ourselves. So I really loved this part of it. So So do multiple versions of ourselves, okay? They are all in potential states, right? The wealthy you, the confident you, the happy you, the healed you, the successful you. They all exist within the quantum field right now. Superposition states that you don't become your desired self, you select it. You collapse that version into reality by aligning your identity with it. With belief, with focus, with decision. The minute you decide that this is who I am now, that energy interferes with the wave pattern and collapses that version of you into reality. And it's not like you could just sit there and be like, okay, I am as wealthy as Kim Kardashian. And then walk out of your house and poof, you have billions of dollars. That's
Right.
not what I'm saying. It's
Right.
not like that. But truly, if you believe it and you again, attention, intention, focus, energy, if all of that's aligned, there's nothing saying that you aren't going to walk down the path of someone like her.
True. I'm
So-
answering too.
No, that's fine. Keep going. The next thing I want to talk about is that manifestation actually can be effortless. Sounds a little weird, feels a little disingenuous, but according to science, it can be. So you and the universe work as a team. You have your role, and the universe has its role, right? We've been talking about it all night, talking about it for months and months on this show. Manifestation isn't about doing more and more, like we just mentioned a little bit ago. It's about doing your part and then allowing space for things to come together, which is a very difficult thing and concept for somebody like me to embrace because I, no joke, am one of the most impatient people God ever put on the planet. Super impatient. Waiting for those biopsy results
Brutal.
almost drove me out of my mind.
Yeah.
And then when they came in, it was inconclusive. Cool. I get to wait 3 more months. Like,
Right.
I can't handle that.
Yeah.
I'm a very much instant gratification girly. Is that a good way to live my life? No, but whatever.
But you also know in that waiting is a lesson somewhere about
Yes.
patience. And that's
Yes.
which kind of makes you mad at the universe, but also very true. I'm not really patient either, but I've learned to be much more patient as a result of all this stuff.
Right. Right.
Because everything's
Yeah.
in the universe's timing. Gurney has decided to say hello.
Hi. We have missed you, Bean. Where have you been?
Oh, jeez. I might have to take him out to pee.
Okay. Yeah, state your intentions and let it go. You've got to, it's definitely like all of
I'll be right
those
back.
like platitudes and cliches that we say, like, self-fulfilling prophecy, let go and let God, like, everything that we just were talking about, especially that, it will happen when you least expect it. It all comes from somewhere for a reason. And this is just the scientific explanation of where all of those things came from. So, um, Aaron's going to go take Bernie for a quick walk. We're going to talk about how us and the universe work together as a team. Okay. So let's get back into it. You've got your role, the universe has its role. So, manifestation, again, it's not about doing more and more, it's about doing your part and then allowing space for things to come together. Like Tom said, state your intentions and let it go. Truly. So, this is what your part looks like. Okay. This is what you do. First, intention. Get very clear on what you actually want to experience. Okay. Second, your other job is expectation. What you truly believe is actually possible for you, not just what you wish for. Okay. So it's got to be something that your expectation, you're setting reasonable expectations. If you want to be the next, Prince Aladdin or whatever, what was it? A princess of Saudi Arabia. That's not a realistic expectation. You will never become a princess of Saudi Arabia. So don't what is it I'm trying to say here, Aaron? Don't just have realistic expectations of outcomes, essentially. Like for
Yeah.
me, I want a successful seven-figure business. That is a realistic expectation.
Right.
It's not something I wish for. It's a realistic expectation that I have for this little light of mine skincare. The third is identity, okay? And this is who you are at your core. When you're just sitting alone with yourself, do you genuinely feel like somebody who can have this even before you see any proof? Who you are when no one else is around and no one else is watching. You
Mm-hmm.
really have to get in touch with your identity.
Yeah.
And your fourth job is regulation. You need to stay grounded and steady so that fear, doubt, or overwhelm don't take over and throw everything off track.
Right.
Those emotions, those things create energy in your energetic field and injects that into the system that the universe, then now you've created a tangle of Christmas lights that the
Right.
universe has to untangle.
Right.
That's why it takes longer. Or
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't happen for until you've long forgotten that's what you wanted.
Right. Or until
So
sometimes I think
yeah,
also until the timing is right. And
yeah.
and
The universe
that
knows exactly when.
right. So the way I always look at it is there's all these little energetic minions on the other side of the universe figuring my life out for me, right?
Yeah.
So I just don't stress it anymore.
Yeah.
That's the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
I also keep realistic expectations.
Yep.
Um, it's
Yep.
like set it
That's
and
the
forget it.
second.
It's kind of how I look at it to some degree with certain things.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's very difficult to regulate your emotions. I get it. I
Hmm.
get it. I do it all the time. That's just who I am. All my friends that have known me for decades know this to be very true about me.
Hmm.
But when dealing with other people just out in life, regulating your fear, your doubt, your overwhelm, that's a good thing to do in just life. But
Yeah.
it's very important to do when you're trying to intentionally interact with the quantum field.
Yeah.
So when you handle those pieces, you're setting things up.
Hmm.
Then the universe can step in and do its part. So what
Right.
the universe's jobs are is it handles the how. It lines things up in ways that we can't see, like Aaron was saying, timing, people, opportunities, even delays or sudden shifts.
Yeah.
Things come together in ways that feel almost impossible to plan. That's the universe's job, and it does it very well,
Yes,
whether
it
we
does.
can recognize it or not. It also handles the scale. So you might set an intention for something, but sometimes it shows up bigger or
Yeah.
smoother or cleaner or better than you imagined. Not because you did it wrong, but because it came together in the best possible way for you.
Yep.
And then there's the in between. This is what got me when I was doing this research, the in between. And this is the space between who you used to be and who you're becoming.
Yeah.
You cannot force your way across that gap. You
Nope.
can't do it. It's something that unfolds. That bridge unfolds when everything starts aligning internally and externally.
Yep.
You, who you used to be, and who you're becoming. You've got to have faith in the universe. Like I said, it will unfold when everything starts to align. So co creation isn't about doing more and more, it's about doing your part. All those things, intention, regulation, identity,
Coherence, identity, all that good stuff.
all that stuff. It's about doing your part and then allowing things to come together in ways that you don't have to control.
Right.
So, this is where we talk about the block universe that you and Corey were talking about. This is the last example I want to give you guys, which is your future. No, I'm not going to do psychic readings and tell everybody their future. But in quantum physics, the future isn't actually ahead of you the way we usually think. We experience time as a straight line, past, present, future. So it feels like we're moving towards something. But in
Linear
physics,
path.
it's actually not that simple. So in quantum physics, all possible outcomes exist at the same time as probabilities. I've said it about 30 times tonight. There's a concept called the block universe, which suggests that past, present, and future all exist simultaneously right now as part of the structure of the universe. So instead of the future being a destination we're walking toward, you can kind of think of it more like a field of possibilities layered over the present moment, like a block. And that's the block universe concept.
Right.
So, from that perspective, we're not really moving toward one single future. We're constantly aligning with one of many possible outcomes energetically. So, how we align with those outcomes is influenced by our internal state, as most everything is. We've been talking about how to kind of harness that in manifestation all night. So,
Yeah.
how we align with those outcomes is influenced by our internal state, our emotions, our expectations, our beliefs, our sense of identity. Those things shape what we notice, how we act, and what we're open to, which naturally then leads us toward certain experiences over others. So the idea becomes less about chasing a future and more about becoming the version of yourself that's aligned with the experience you want and letting that path unfold, bridging who you were and who you're becoming. Does that make sense, you guys? I haven't
So
checked the
good.
temperature of the audience.
Yeah, no, it's so good. Everybody's on it.
Yeah. Okay, good.
I think you explained that really, really well.
Okay. So basically, guys, that was a lot. I'm probably gonna have to go back and watch this a few times to make sure that I was like, does that sound? Because to
It does.
me, I've been reading it for 5 weeks, so it
Here we
makes
go.
sense to me. But did I? Okay, good, good. Okay,
Well,
all
and I
right, great.
think as someone who, as a Reiki practitioner, the lady I studied under covers quantum
Yeah.
because in the Reiki, is this where you want me to jump in on the entanglement?
Yeah, if you want to. I just had one last, like a closing paragraph. It's basically all of this to say manifesting, when you look at it through a quantum lens, is about working with a field of possibilities rather than trying to force a specific outcome. Quantum physics shows that multiple potential outcomes can exist at once as probabilities. The idea is that through focused intention, elevated emotion, aligned action, we begin to move toward or align with one of those possibilities becoming our reality. So you can think of your thoughts as the electrical part of the signal, right? And your
Right.
emotions as the magnetic part. Together, they shape how you show up, what you notice, and the choices you make. So instead of manifestation being about control, it's really about coherence with the quantum field, getting your thoughts, feelings, and actions working in the same direction so the universe knows the path you want and becomes the one you naturally step into.
Boom.
Boom. Done.
Done. You nailed it.
Thank you. Whoosh. Thank you, Rose. Oh, whew.
Yeah, you
Deborah,
did
thank
great.
you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you really did great.
Thank you so much. I really tried hard. Um, oh, okay.
Ellen, I'm not really doing sessions anymore, but if you want to reach out to me on Facebook, we can talk about it. But I got out of doing sessions about 2 years ago. But if you want to reach out to me on Facebook, you can absolutely, or through the Facebook group that we have here online, we can talk about it.
Oh, and Ellen, I saw your comment. I keep calling you out because Ellen is my middle name, and so I was like, another Ellen. I love it. I think it's beautiful. So that's why.
Yes. I think so. Just to tag on to that, and I'm going to do this super, super quick. I'm not even going to pull up my source, but we learned a lot about quantum entanglement and Reiki. There's this ongoing battle of distance Reiki doesn't work, distance Reiki doesn't. Everybody thinks you have to be physically touching somebody. And that's
Yes.
where the theory of quantum entanglement comes in.
Yeah.
And basically, our energy is all familiar. We all know each other now, energetically, even if we've never met.
Energetically,
There's an
yeah, for sure.
energetic
We could pick
connection.
any of us out.
We know each other. So whether I'm in China and you're here in the States and you want a Reiki, because I do a lot of Reiki just for friends at this point. And through quantum entanglement, that is how distance Reiki works. Doesn't matter where you are. It's just as powerful in person as it is if you're on the other side of the world. I'm trying to pull this one thing up so I can give you the definition of quantum entanglement. Here we go.
Oh, yes, please.
This is from Janice Energy Healing. We've obviously discussed what that is. Um, where's my quantum entanglement definition? Okay, here we go. All right, this might seem strange, but it basically means that two particles can become linked, and no matter how far apart they are, they can still affect each other instantly.
Yes, no matter where in space or time they're
Correct.
at.
It's like
Yes.
having two people who can feel each other's emotions even if they are on opposite sides of the world. Right? So for me
Yeah.
as an energy healer, because honestly, when I was living in Florida, I didn't have any clients in Florida. My clients were
All over the
different
country.
parts of the US.
Yeah.
And I always visualize like a cord. My energetic cord connects to their energetic
Yes.
cord just for the session. And then I can kind of disconnect that. But either way, our energy is always connected.
Right.
So even Reiki is grounded in the quantum field. Is
Yeah.
everything is. And
Yeah.
the
Everything
more
is.
familiar you get with the quantum field and how it can work for you, all those things Carrie talked about are true. I think there are certain things we can control, but I also think on some level, playing in the quantum field is a good lesson in letting go of control
It
too.
really is. Yes.
Because
So, yeah.
if you trust the universe, and I've learned this especially over the last 2 years, if you literally have an actual faith in the universe or whatever it is for you, it doesn't have to be whatever
Right.
you assign to that, right? You're already setting yourself up for that path of least resistance. You are handing over the control to somebody and something else.
Which is very
It's
difficult for people like me that have to control
everything, right?
everything.
Right. And I used to be like that too. And on some levels, there's certain things I am about that. Like, if you want to meet for dinner and you're like, I'll pick you up. No, I'll meet you there. I'm driving. Like, I
Yeah.
want to be in control of my car.
Yeah.
But all that to say, all the quantum entanglement, quantum physics, all very much are based in energy. And when I started learning about those kinds of connections through the quantum field, that's when energy really started making sense to me.
Yes, me too. I was like, oh wow, okay.
Trusting what's going
Way
on
more sense.
in the universe, it was like, okay, I'm done. I don't
Yep.
have to. I can jokingly set an intention, and I was like last year. I was very intentional about my job, but I was trying to manifest specific things
Yeah.
at a checklist of like 10 things that I was looking for, and I didn't go through it all the time. Really, like once a month, I would out loud say to the universe, okay, this is what I want,
Yeah.
and it took 9 months. But some other shit had to clear out first, right? I had to
Yeah, exactly.
unload
Like
some
the
other
universe had
things,
to untangle
make
some
more
Christmas
space,
lights.
had to untangle the Christmas lights. So even though, and it was stressful, I'm not gonna lie, I lost a lot of hair last year because I was stressed. Because again, I
It
was
was really stressed.
single,
It was,
gone through divorce, moved up here. You know, there was a whole other host
yeah.
of things. But the one thing that didn't waver was knowing that the universe was going to present the perfect thing for me, and it was going to present to me exactly what I wanted, and it did. This job checked literally every single box of things that I wanted.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And that's like, if anything, guys, if you take anything away from tonight and all of this, what largely sounds to the mind of somebody who's not a scientist like myself, gobbledygook.
right.
You take away that scientifically the quantum field exists and there are many different possible outcomes for anything.
Yeah.
And we are
Choose your own adventure.
interacting with this energetic field, this quantum field, all the time.
Yeah.
Because we have our own energetic field, our brain,
Literally
our heart,
everything
our
is
nervous
energy.
system. Everything.
Everything is energy. Literally
Is energy.
everything.
Everything.
All the time.
Yeah.
But it's like a choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
As far as choices you make and intentions you set and what do you actually want for your life. But like you said, it's about
Yeah.
clearing the space, aligning with it, not forcing it, making it coherent, not pushing it too hard, and just because again, like you said, a lot of things have to collapse to get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And
Some shit
like I
has to
said, the
be moved
universe
out of the way.
you have your job and the universe has its job. So once you've done your part,
The universe takes care of the rest.
let it ride.
Yep.
Universe
Exactly.
will take it over from there. So yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging with me on that one. I was telling Jennifer, I'm like, I don't know if if I'm like explaining this
Well,
right.
you did great.
Okay, good.
Everybody, we don't even have
Yeah,
questions.
that's awesome.
That's how good you did.
Wow, shut up. Really? No questions?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Because people were, oh yeah, that makes sense. Or yeah. You'll go back. You can go back through.
Yay. Okay, good. Good. Okay.
And that means we get to end early tonight, kind of.
We are going to be ending early tonight, guys. Listen, for those of you that are joining late, Aaron and I did make the announcement at the top of the show that we are ending this show. Well, that was weird. Our final episode is going to be in 2 weeks on April 2nd. If you would like to go back and watch from the beginning to find out the reasons, it's not anything dramatic or crazy. It's just that life has been lifing a little too much for us right now. So this just sort of felt like we'd gotten to a very natural, organic end of the show after a year and a half. Thank you, Sandy. I'm glad. I was afraid that my brain was collapsing.
No, you did great.
Not just these other outcomes. So anyway, so for those of you who joined a little bit later, that is what we announced at the top of the show. If you'd like to go back and rewatch it, we love you guys. We're still going to be around. We're keeping the Facebook group around, and our next episode in 2 weeks is going to be a big giant party. We're going to pull cards. We're going to chit chat. So bring your party hats. This is not anything to be sad about. It is a celebration of this amazing community that we have all built together, that we really, really love. And I think that, Aaron, would you agree that we've gotten a ton of wonderful things out of?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think too, it's, these are, for us, these topics are kind of passion projects for us. So
They
to
really are.
be afforded a space to share it with others, but share it in a way that felt more true to the realistic
Yes.
situationship of going through the spiritual shit, especially later in life.
Yeah.
I think to be able to do that is an honor, because again, and we talked about this from the very beginning, that we've had mentors, we've had people we've learned under. People had to teach us this stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like you get to a point where you're comfortable enough in what you're learning that we owe it to other people to also share that knowledge, to give back what was given to us, basically, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. And if you guys ever have questions or anything like that, or if we have questions and we've come across some stuff that we don't know, pop it in the group. We're not getting rid of the Facebook group.
No,
It's
it'll still
just-
be around for sure.
Yeah, it's just, Aaron's got to get up at 4:30 in the morning, and I've got to, do the same. I've got the shop is getting busier, and I love that. But I also have a potential new job on the horizon, so then I'm like, uh-oh. Now I've spread myself too thin again.
No way. You never do that.
Never do that. I never do it. Anyway,
Carrie's tagline.
I know, right? It's
Always
gonna be on my
doing
headstone.
more.
Yeah. Anything we're doing is worth overdoing. That's my motto.
Yeah, 100%.
Love you guys.
agree. So we'll see
All
you
right.
guys in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay, we're gonna have a big party.
It'll just be a big party. It's gonna be a fuck around and find out kind of night. So we'll just hang out, shoot the shit, and then, you'll be able to find us on social media and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we love you.
We do. We love you. Have a wonderful night, Aaron. Get some sleep. And I will I haven't been pulling a sweary affirmation in a while, but I'm gonna start doing that again, just in the
chat, in the Facebook group.
Facebook page, on a weekly basis. So I will pull one and I'll pop it into the page as soon as we sign off.
Love it. All right.
Love
See
you guys.
Bye.
See you in 2 weeks. Bye.